This is going to be my video conclusion and the third part of my three-part series of the Texbo Real Thick Cowhide Leather Men's Shoulder Briefcase Fits 17-inch Laptop Bag Tote compared to the Saddleback Classic Briefcase in large of two very similar colors. If you've watched the first two parts of my videos, essentially it's been a comparison of the outside and the inside of these respective bags. So what's the ultimate conclusion we reach in this? It's going to be the same as I did the comparison of my older bag, but what this video allows you to do is basically see the Texbo as it ages over time compared to a brand new Texbo compared to a relatively very new Saddleback. So what you end up with is a bag that is a quarter of the price of the Saddleback with probably 70% of the quality of a Saddleback, and the biggest difference in it is going to be the quality of the hardware and the quality of the leather. But don't let that fool you. Just because the hardware and leather isn't as good doesn't mean that it's not going to last. This hardware will last. Even after 2 years of tough abuse, each of these pieces of hardware are still holding on strong. Nothing's broken off, nothing's fallen off. I've thrown this on planes. I've brought this repeatedly on a lot of traveling trips. This has been shoved into the back of cars, the back of taxis in a very haphazard manner without anyone ever giving much regard to the bag, and the bag is held up. This area of the bottom gasket not being fully stitched across has never been a point of failure for me, even though when I travel, this is my carry-on bag, and I fill it with usually everything I can't afford to check in, and also a day of extra clothing in case my baggage gets lost, which means that this bag is filled to the brim on a very regular basis, close to probably 30 to 40 pounds, and has held up incredibly well. So what I'm trying to say in the end here is that though the Texbo is of lower quality, though the leather isn't as nice, though the hardware isn't as nice, though it doesn't have the name Saddleback, it still holds up pretty darn well. This is a design that I think really has been developed in a form follows function type of way, in which this is a design that's been shown time and time again to be not only beautiful but extremely functional, which means that if you were to take the same design and apply it to a cheaper bag, that bag is still going to be just as functional. You are going to get leather that is not as nice as Saddlebacks, but still pretty darn nice. Leather that will build patina and changes in color as you use. Leather that will scratch and have a little bit of changes that occur as you scratch those leathers. So this is in no way, horrible leather. I know there's going to be a lot of talk online about the quality of this leather. I want to make it very clear that though this is not going to be as high quality leather, it's still pretty darn good and will still do pretty well, and is still fairly thick and pretty heavy. The other important thing to remember between these two bags is part of what you pay for in Saddleback is not only their name, but also their customer service. And they have a reputation of having incredible customer service. Just look at my video review of their response to my issues with my bag. They addressed every single one in detail. Someone obviously sat down, thought about my questions, talked to the right people, and then provided me with an answer afterwards at every single point. I mean, it's a company that can afford that type of customer service. But don't be fooled. I've been in contact with Texbo, especially ordering this new bag. They had recently run out of stock, and I had to ask them when the new bags would come in and when they thought it would come in. Amazon was showing only a few bags left, and the prices had gone up fairly significantly. And they kept in touch with me really close. Every day I send them an email. The next morning I wake up, and there would be a response to the email. Another, I think, important differentiating point between these two bags is the production of these bags. Texbo is produced in China, and the Saddleback is produced in Mexico. Neither of these bags are produced in the United States. However, it is important to note that they are not produced in similar countries. And there are very nice leather bags coming out of China. There are brands such as Marlando and that make absolutely amazing bags. So I don't think there's an issue in terms of craftsmanship in China. I think there is a larger variation in the quality of bags that you will get. And at $100 and $200, there are a lot of horrible Saddleback knockoffs out there that are really, really bad and fall apart extremely quickly. My whole point in making these videos is to show that Texbo is not one of those companies. I've owned a bunch of bags. I would say that over the course of the last decade, I've owned probably somewhere around a dozen to 24 leather bags. I can't even remember. At my current time, I have 6 leather bags in my rotation. I was previously using my older Texbo the most. I finally gave in and bought a Saddleback, so I started using that more, and that's mostly because of my leather obsession rather than me thinking Texbo is a horrible quality bag. So when I have friends, coworkers, anyone who asks me what bag to get, I still almost always point them towards Texbo unless it's someone who is obsessed with leather and knows a lot about leather and wants the highest quality of everything no matter the cost. Because the true reality of the situation is for 99% of the population, the Texbo bag will do just fine and will meet your needs, will be the type of leather that you want, the size, the functionality that you want without having to pay the astronomical prices. So again, I have to give this win to the Texbo, not because they went out in quality, not because they went out in hardware. Some of the small design changes they make are really nice. I love the nylon interior. I love the sliding buckle that holds on to the extra flap on the shoulder strap. But in the end, it all comes down to money. The Texbo is just such an incredibly good deal that you really can't ignore it. So it's going to be my third part of my video review. Stay tuned on my channel. In the coming months, you will see more head-to-head reviews. You will, because I've been getting asked to do this, also see a Marlando head-to-head review coming up, so stay tuned.